Hello friends, I've finally done it. I made a TBR jar. I'm very excited about it and I think they're so fun. They're like kind of my favorite videos to watch. So I decided to finally make one for myself and I asked you guys for the prompts that I was going to put in here. So I asked you on my YouTube community page and also on my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. And yeah, so I put in all the prompts that you guys sent me and we're just going to pick out 6 prompts to pick my February TBR. So let's do it. All right, so how I've decided to do this is that I'm going to pick out my 6 prompts first and then we are going to find the books together. I already shook it up, but I'm not gonna look, and I'm just gonna pull out the first slip that my hand lands on. Okay. Read a book with Black main characters. Okay, this is perfect because it's Black History Month, obviously, so I want to be reading books with Black protagonists. So, okay, perfect. We got one. Okay, all right, so we're going in for our next pick. Let's see this one. All right, I'm letting you guys see it first. So what does it say? Ooh, shortest book on your TBR. Okay, fun. This next one. Ooh, okay. Read a translated work. I don't know if I have any translated books like physically, so I'd have to borrow something from the library maybe. We'll see. I have to go through my collection. Next one. What's it say, babes? Is it a good one? I hope it's a good one. It says read a book blurbed by a fave author. Okay. The camera doesn't want to focus, but this one says read a short story collection. And we only need one more. Please be a good one. Please be a good one. Please be a really good one. Because I genuinely can't think of what I'm gonna pick for the other prompts. So let's see. Let's see. Is it a good one? Is it a good one? All right. It says read a book with an unlikable MC. Okay. So for the prompt of read a book with an unlikable MC, I am going to be picking up Queenie by Candace Carty Williams. And this was such a, I want to say, a really divisive book in the Black community, specifically like on Black Bookstagram. I remember when this book came out, it had a lot of buzz and a lot of reviewers that I really love were talking about this book and how much they absolutely hated the protagonist Queenie. So I think that this will be a really good pick. I have been putting this book off for so long because so many people hated it violently. So I should see what my opinion is going to be on it though. So from what I understand about this book, it is about a woman named Queenie who's a journalist, and this is a story about like just her life and all of the questionable decisions she makes. I also think that she's in therapy, and so maybe the therapy is kind of like a framing device for some of the questionable decisions she's making. I'm very intrigued to see how I'm going to feel about this, considering so many people absolutely despised it. Okay, so the next prompt that I'm going to pick is read a book blurbed by your favorite author. And for this one, I'm going to pick Warrior of the Wind by Suyi Davies Onkambawa. This is the second book in the Nameless Republic series. This was blurbed by actually 2 authors that I really love, Shelley Parker Chan and also Fonda Lee. I count both of them as some of my favorite authors. I think Shelley Parker Chan is a little bit of a more questionable favorite author because I've only read one book by them, but I do really love She Who Became the Sun, and I absolutely adore the Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee. So there's some favorites. They really enjoyed it. Fonda Lee said it's a richly drawn story of ambition, conspiracy, and the elusiveness of belonging. And Shelley Parker Chan said a world so exquisitely observed that you can't help but tumble headlong into its vivid, captivating reality. So I will be checking this one out, and this is a fantasy book with like a West African inspired setting, and I read the first book years and years ago, so fingers crossed that I'm going to remember what's going on in this story. But yeah, the cover is also really gorgeous, so we're going to check it out. Hopefully I'm going to love it. So for the translated work prompt, I think I'm going to try to read The Vegetarian by Han Kang. This is one of the only translated books that I have on my shelf right now, and this was translated from Korean originally, and this is about a woman who chooses to become vegetarian. And I think the book has like a kind of speculative element to it, but from what I understand, it's kind of a commentary on the experiences that this woman has when she's kind of deciding to deviate from the norm and what's expected of her as a Korean wife and like as a daughter-in-law, and the friction that she has with her family as a result. I have been so intrigued by this book for the longest time, but I am a little bit of a squeamish person, and people always say that this book is like really kind of disturbing and strange, and so I don't know, that always like scares me a little bit, but I'm finally gonna get to it this month. Like, I pinky promise, pinky swear, it has to happen. So as for the short story collection prompt, I think I'm going to read Love in Color by Bolu Babalola. And this is a short story collection, lots of different mythologies reinterpreted in some way. So I have read Bolu Babalola's romance book, Honey and Spice, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very fun. And I'm excited to see what this book is going to be like, because it sounds like a very different vibe than the romance that I read from her, which is just like a typical college romance. So we'll see how I feel about this one. Hopefully I'm going to love it. And yeah, I haven't read a short story collection in a while. Like, fingers crossed that I'm really going to enjoy it. Funnily enough, this book is blurbed by Candice Carty-Williams, who's the author of Queenie, which is also on this list. So yeah, the Black British girlies are kind of running my TBR this month. How interesting is that? So then we have shortest book on my TBR, and I'm not exactly sure what the shortest book on my TBR is. So I have picked up a few different books, and I'm just going to have to look at the page counts for it. So I have 4 options here. I have Tread of Angels by Rebecca Roanhorse. I have Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. I have 3 of Us by Ore Agbaje Williams. And I also have All About Love by Bell Hooks. So let's just see. So All About Love is 237 pages. The 3 of Us is 175 pages. Tread of Angels is 198 pages. And finally, Giovanni's Room is 159 pages. So we're gonna pick this one. And yeah, this is a classic. I have already started reading this, and I think I got like maybe 40 pages into it, but I was reading it while I was in the midst of like my final semester of school, and I was just really stressed out. So I was not really like, I wasn't really enjoying the book as much as I know I would if I could really devote like time and mental energy to it. So I will be giving this another chance this month. Alright, so I think for this final prompt of read a book with Black main characters, I'm going to pick a book that I don't actually own physically, but I do have the e-arc of it, and that is Lore of the Wilds by Anale Sabrana. And I am going to be reading that book. That is a fantasy romance, and it has like Black characters. I think it's like a love triangle, and it has like fae boys and all that good stuff. I'm excited. I think it'll be a good time. This is the author's debut, and I remember there was a lot of buzz around the author's like announcement of the book coming out, and like announcing the cover reveal and everything like that. And I believe it was originally supposed to be self-published, but then it got picked up by a publisher. So I'm very proud of that author. Like, that's a huge achievement. That's really cool for them. And so I am excited to be checking this book out, and I'm wishing it every success. So I will be reading and reviewing it hopefully before it releases February 27th. So yeah, so I think those are going to be all the picks for my TBR this month. I do have the little prompts still sitting here, but I think that's going to be it for my TBR for this month. I'm trying to be very reasonable with myself and like my reading expectations, because I only read like 2 things in January. I'm currently filming this on January 26th, so anything's possible. Maybe I'll read a few more things before the end of the month, but I doubt it. So I only read 2 books in January. So here's hoping that this TBR is actually feasible for me in February. But I don't know. I'm in a reading slump, you guys. So I'm like praying on everything that these books are going to be the cure to that, and I'm just really going to get into it. So yeah, I've just been feeling a little bit disconnected from my reading and everything, and also from BookTube. I haven't been posting as much as I kind of wanted to. So you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm very hopeful about this TBR. There's a lot of really interesting books on here. Thank you to everyone who submitted a prompt for the TBR jar. Please leave me a little book stack emoji in the comments below. Any engagement helps. Wish me luck with reading all these books. I hope they're all going to be hits. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video, you guys. Bye. Mwah.